Hello. So the topic is chronic sialadenitis and this is part 2 video where I am going to tell you about the investigations and treatment. So when you come to investigation, the main investigation it's going to be to start with is the ultrasound. So when we do an ultrasound, what we are looking for is mainly the gland, the size of the gland, whether it is enlarged or not, and is there any infection at the same time. And what are the causes? Is there any cause that has led to this chronic infection? So the cause, one of the causes can be formation of stones, which in medical terms we call it as calculus. So is there any calculus? If so, what is where is the calculus? It's the duct or in the gland, and the number of calculus, whether it is single or it is multiple, and what is the size of the calculus. Not only that, is there any signs of infection, whether it be specific or non-specific. What I am talking about is a chronic infection. And even the acute episode, sometimes you have an abscess formation also. So that also can be found out with an ultrasound. This is the main investigation we deal with. Sometimes we need to do a CT scan, especially when we don't get a diagnosed ultrasound and we are suspecting malignancy. We would like to do a CT scan with contrast, main one. Otherwise, ultrasound will be more than enough. And psilography, which I have mentioned as second, we are not doing this nowadays. And maybe endoscopy can be of some help sometimes. So that is about the investigation. Now coming to the treatment. So about the treatment, it depends at what stage the patient can come to us when there is severe pain or when there is no pain. So we will see both the scenarios. The first scenario is when he has got a severe pain, he has got a history of chronic sialadenitis, but now at acute episode, he has got a severe pain and glandular swelling also. So at this stage, we like to prescribe a course of antibiotic, say for 5 or 7 days. Maybe it's a combination of antibiotic, and along with that, we'll give you painkillers for a few days. And we'll give you a few advice. So these advices are going to be, one is you have to massage the gland, the concerned gland. If it is parotid, it's just below the ears, in front of the ears and below the ears. And the submandibular gland is just below the mandible. So you have to massage the gland 3 times daily, morning, afternoon and night. And after that, it's better that you apply warm fomentation also. That also 2 or 3 times per day. So massage and warm fomentation. And along with that, if you can use some psiloclox like sour food, like if you can take sips of lemon juice, that also can be of help to you. So what it does is it tries to increase the saliva production. So it can wash out whatever and the pain also becomes less. So this treatment is for acute episode. In case the patient comes during chronic stage and he doesn't have a pain now, but he gives a typical history which is very suggestive of chronic sialadenitis, and we reconfirm with all the investigations also, then we'll go in for surgery. Surgery is the only option. So when you do surgery, it depends upon the gland which is involved. So we'll admit you and first we'll take a concern. So the concern paper, the hospital concern paper, it will be written what is the diagnosis, that will be chronic sialadenitis, and what is the operation we are going to do. So that will be chronic, excision of the submandibular gland, or if it is parotid, excision of the parotid gland. Now the same, just below that, all the complications of the surgery will be written. So the complications, let me tell you about the complications of the surgery. So these complications is mainly for the submandibular gland. So one is the wound infection, second being blood collection in the wound, which is usually within the first 1 or 2 days, and operatively 3 important things. There are 3 important nerves that are closely related to the submandibular gland. So when we are doing the submandibular gland excision, we may damage one of the 3 nerves. One is the nerve which supplies the angle of the mouth. So what happens is postoperatively when the patient smiles, there is small deviation only on the angle of the mouth. Second being, suppose we cut the lingual nerve, we injure the lingual nerve. So what happens is the sensation of the tongue will be gone. The third one will be hypoglossal nerve, which supplies the muscles of the tongue. In that case, the movement of the tongue will be hampered. So this is for excision of the submandibular gland. If the surgery is for parotid gland, that is excision of the parotid gland, then the first two applies the same, that is wound infection, blood clotting in the wound, and then it will be not these nerves, it will be the facial nerve. Facial nerve is the nerve which supplies the muscles of the face. So if that is damaged, the concerned side of the face muscles will not be working, so the person will not be able to close the eyes properly. Not only that, since the one side of the face is not working, whenever he eats or smiles, that part of the face will be disfigured. So these are the complications. Now at the same time, all the investigations will be going on, and when all the investigations are done with these papers, investigation papers, you have to meet a physician. They will examine you, and whatever extra necessary things to be done, they will do the investigation. And once they have given a clearance for surgery, with that clearance paper, you have to meet the anesthetist. The anesthetist will examine you and give a clearance for anesthesia. Suppose your surgery, you are posted on Tuesday morning. So in that case, from Monday night 12 o'clock after your dinner, from 12 midnight, you will be advised not to drink or eat anything till you have been further advised to do so. In that case, next day is the surgery, and the surgery will be like excision of the submandibular gland or excision of the parotid gland, whichever gland is involved. And if it is submandibular gland, it will be like this. So there will be an incision which is marked, and there is an incision, the whole gland is exposed, and after removing the whole gland, when hemostasis of the blood, if the whole area is dry without any bleeding, it will be closed and a small drain will be kept here. Some of the surgeons, they don't prefer a drain, that's fine. I usually keep one drain so that there is no blood collection inside, and take it off. I will take it off next day morning itself. Now, post-operatively, when you come to the ward or the room, the next 4 hours, you are not supposed to take any food or drink. And your position will be propped up position, approximately 30 to 40 degrees. And the IV fluids will be going on. The staff nurse will be monitoring your heart rate, blood pressure, oxygen saturation and temperature. If she finds any change in that, she will inform the duty doctor. At the same time, you will be on IV antibiotic and painkiller. So this is how your wound is going to be, the post-operative period. There will be a pressure bandage in the neck, the drain inside and the pressure bandage in the neck. The subsequent day morning, we will remove this bandage. And the same day, you may be discharged also. So during the discharge, these are going to be the advices. One, you will be on antibiotic, maybe it's a single antibiotic or combination for 5 to 7 days, and along with that you will get painkillers, so just for a few days. And we'll advise you that wound dressing has to be done every 3rd day. You can go to a local clinic or you can come back to the surgeon who has done the operation. And the first review is going to be after 7 days, where we would like to see the wound, and we'll show you the biopsy report also. And if the wound is fine and healthy, we'll take off the sutures. If not, maybe 1 or 2 days extra. There are a few more advices which has to be followed at home. You have to drink a lot of water. No restriction, you have to do your normal activities. Don't strain yourself, you have to do your normal activities and be on balanced diet. If there is minimal wound soaking over the bandage, that's okay, that's fine. And some of them, they complain of tightness in the area of the wound. That is also normal. About the suture removal, I have already mentioned. And after the suture removal, please do not overextend your neck upwards or overextension to any one side. And there is one more complaint which is very common. So most of them after the surgery, they say there is throat irritation, slight change of voice and dry cough. Actually, this is not related to the surgery. It is because of the tube, the anesthetist he has put the tube during the surgery for the anesthesia gas to go in. So that tube may irritate you for 4-5 days, and maximum 5 days it gets resolved by itself. So these are the common complications. That's how we manage the case post-operatively. Now, one more thing I want to tell you. After operation, when you are discharged, when you have gone home and we have told you to come back after 7 days, meanwhile at home, if you get any of these problems, you have to call your doctor immediately and go and visit him. One is you get high fever. There is no other cause for fever other than the operation. That is one. And you get pain over the site where we have operated, and the pain is continuous and it is severe, it keeps on increasing. That is also not good. And you may get pain, along with that you may or may not get swelling, and suppose you may get swelling which is increasing in size, that is also not good. And some of the patients, they may say, they may not complain of swelling or pain. They may say that ping pricking sensation is there continuous, which is not bearable, which is not usual for that. In that case, that is also not good. And the last one is, whenever the patient turns to one side or other, he gets severe pain on the wound side. So he restricts his movement. All these are not good. In that case, what you do, you call your doctor, and better you go and visit him and clarify that is okay with him or not. So this is how a case of chronic sialadenitis has been taken care of. Thank you so much.